Today it's finally happening. We're going to Fauske. I have a heated garage there and we can start with the installation of the Maxxfans. Let's just hope I can get this started. As you can see, it's been pretty cold. And there we are. Are you guys ready to go? What's happening? Yeah, we're gonna spend 3 days in this car now. But it's gonna be warm and cozy in the garage. Starting to get everything filled up. That's Maxxfan Mini. I hope I can strike a deal with my friend that I'll exchange his new Maxxfan Mini towards his used Maxxfan Deluxe and a solar panel and stuff. So let's see. I will spend the evening sorting this out in the garage, and we are going to buy some more of these boxes so we can sort out the tools. When I fix this drawer, some of the shit can go in the drawer, and we're gonna gradually get more organized. So my first pit stop before heading to Fauske, and I picked up some more pack outs, the rollout drawer, and there's another drawer section over there. Can't wait to get all my stuff better organized. It's gonna be so awesome. This is actually becoming a seat in the van, but that's for another video. I'm not gonna say too much tonight, but what I will say, we are finally indoors, starting to get our shit together here. I got some new equipment from Milwaukee. I bought that at Julius Jacqueline, as you could see earlier in this video, and thanks for them for giving me a decent price on these products. I hope it's gonna help our progress when everything is sorted out. I will not be 3D printing holders for my tools because I think it will change over time, and I need time to figure out what tools I need to have and how to organize them. But this puppy I'm really excited about. It's the rolling bin drawer, because that will not be filled with tools. This will only be used, like, I will fill this for the thing I am doing. So if I'm going to make dinner at the campground, I'll use this for my kitchen equipment. If I go for dog training, that's what it will be used for. The boys are settled down for the night. We're going to take them out and give them some food. But now we are just cleaning and drying up the car for the fans tomorrow. And I'm so crossing my broken finger that we will get there and that we have everything we need. I have bought more of the different chemicals than I think I will ever need for the 2 fans, but I don't want to come short, so that we need to take shortcuts or it's going to be marginal. So today I will also start organizing this so it's lined up when we start and it goes really fast. There's a lot of tools here, but I will try to use my own tools. That's also to learn to use my own tools and get like a feel of how I want to organize them. I will also start setting up some camera equipment. We're gonna run 1 camera with 2 DJI mini mics. So it's gonna be easy to sync all the filming, because I guess we will be filming details with our mobile phones, and we just sync the clips with audio. I hope I can fix these drawers and some of the expendables go in here. So I will actually set aside 1 drawer until the van is decently finished for project material. So if I know the next thing coming up is to install another intake, I will just buy the equipment, have it in the drawer, so I don't have to look for stuff when I start an install or have access to a garage. Another thing I might start with tonight is actually cutting up some isolation and get these in place up there. It's not that it's an important project, but at least it's something, and when I go to bed, I fixed something. So my friend that is going to help me with installation was just by and we thought I've forgotten some of the screws, but I've been packing so much that I forgot to have one of the boxes up front. This is a company from my hometown. It's the only place where I've been able to find rivet nuts in A4. I should have ordered more of these, because I want to use A4 all around the car. Also, these have these tracks, splines or whatever you would call them, so they don't rotate that easily. So I'll check a company here in Fauske tomorrow if I can buy some more. Anyway, these will be prioritized for the fan. There should be, I'm not sure how many goes on each fan, but there's 30 in total here. It's gonna be so nice just to get some of the boxes and shit out of the way and like the materials where it belongs. But an important matter in this project is not to neglect the boys. They need some stimulation, or they actually start to get annoyed at each other. So now they're doing a food search, which I think is a great way to activate the dogs and give them mental stimulation. So please, please, if you have a canine friend, don't let all the van building get in the way of the dogs getting some exercise and some mental stimulation. It's 8 in the morning. I'm really happy we woke up this early because we need to go to the city and buy some plex tubings for the electrical work. I might even buy some more wires. I'm gonna see if I can get A4 rivet nuts. And now I'm just doing a little bit of a side project, and this is the panel for the step or the trim. And I bought this welding tool from an outlet store called Claes Olsson. And I already tested it on one weld here. I think I used the wrong plastic to fill, but this won't show, so it doesn't matter for this small test. But let's see how it works out. I asked ChatGPT. This is most likely ABS plastic. I don't have any test plastic to burn to analyze the flame, but as far as I could see, these clips, they burned straight in there and it became transparent. So it's most likely ABS, and that's what they use on the panels. So now I'm just going to find some isopropanol, wash off the edges, and let's see if we can weld this together. I couldn't find isopropanol, so we're just going to use industrial cleaner. I think it will be good enough. It's not paint, we are actually just welding stuff together or melting it together. So wow, that's really satisfying. I couldn't get it all the way down there, and one of my concerns, so I didn't dare to push it any further because I was afraid it would burn through. And one of my concerns is getting metal towards metal, but this is far down in the profile, so that's not going to touch metal. That's a good point. So I guess the capacity of this is not great, but I'm only doing small repairs. And the same with the pack out. I'm not gonna 3D print a lot of fancy crates that will hold all my spanners. I'm not using it every day. It just needs to be fairly effective. Like the few times a week I use the tools. If I use it every day, maybe. But yeah, I have to put the bang where the bucks are or whatever, so I don't overdo stuff. So it confirmed pretty nice. Ooh, it's actually strong. Ah, can bend. So it's really rewarding doing these small projects. For one, I build skills. And the other one is you feel something is moving forward, and that gives you motivation for doing bigger projects. I missed my index finger. Oh shit. That's not good. That's not good at all. So that's actually a fair point. I need to make sure I have like a stable position so I can hold it until the plastic is solid again, so I don't actually cut off plastic like this. But this is not a high risk part, so it's a good place to learn. I will not melt in anyone from the top. I think it's pretty strong here, and I'm going to add some plastic as well. I have no clue how to do this, if I should chop off pieces. Maybe I should do that. At least where I can just lay flat. I would actually just chop in pieces here. Wow. That looks absolutely fucking terrible. But I'm gonna leave it at that. It's good enough. And it's gonna look way better than these two flimsy parts flapping around inside the car or whenever you step in and out. So it lasts as long as it does, and it buys me time to learn CAD and maybe make this piece out of some fancy stainless steel with my logo here. Ooh. But again, it's super rewarding just to do small projects and learn some new skills. I might need to buy another soldering iron, even if this is supposed to be able to burn this, because I think the heat is a little bit low. Maybe I just need to use the tip. But yeah, it's 8:30 and I've done my first project. I only need to find the screws for this. Out doing some shopping. Here are the boys. Here are some two holes for the cables for the solar panel and another land take for power because I want to have two. Anyway, great service here at Ferda on Fauske. So now the next one is Biltema, a outlet store, and we're gonna buy some flex tubing and paint. And hopefully the last shop on the list before we can go back to working. So let's see what they have here. So at this point in the editing, I realized this is not only going to be about the Maxxfans, and it's not really a good installation video, it's more of a vlog. So if you thought there will only be fancy things with the installation of the Maxxfans, you can just quit now. I'm doing so many mistakes during this process, and there's so many other things going on that I think there is more here to learn from how not to do it. But anyhow, I really enjoy this process, and with every small project I do, I learned something new. And I'm so fortunate to be able to be in. Anyhow, I guess it's just as interesting to see how we live and our process in this transition. There is like 100,000 videos on installation of the Maxxfans anyhow. Even though I will say we're doing it a little bit different. We're not using the wooden frames like people are used to, and I have some special installation tape.
The promise
so
it gets lighter.
If that's advisable or not, I don't know. But again, look at this nature.
The periods of darkness that
it was splendid just being there and getting stuff done. I will never gotten this done if I had to do it at home or where I stayed at this time on the farm.
Yeah.
So just note to myself, I'm actually going to start making some B-roll that I can use for voiceover. So even though I'm not saying anything specific in the video or anything is happening, I'm just filming it so I have some B-roll to use for voiceovers. I note to myself, maybe I should talk a little bit about having equipment ready, because now I used 3.5, 4 hours just going around buying stuff. So in continuation about what we talked about last night about the drawer, I need to start to plan out what is the next project, do research on the internet, and just order the best stuff so I don't need to make any compromises. Because I only got A2 rivet nuts today, and I really want A4. That's just stupid. And yeah, I could have been more prepared. Kom. Gå in. Du, gå in. Nej, kom här. Oh, Jesus. Bing! Luckily for me now, they had some of the parts I wanted. This is a true hole or something for the cables for the solar panel, maybe the Starlink. If you feel I'm doing like a ton of side projects and not staying on task, you are 100% right. But the excuse for this one is that I'm waiting for my friend and I don't want to start with the fan installation before he gets there, so I'm just trying to do whatever I can to move the project ahead. Anyhow, I learned a lot from this as well, and I guess a lot of people can recognize with this van building when you don't really have the skills and all the tools and an understanding of all materials. You just try different things and you learn as you go. So I thought it would be smart move to use a template. At least I did the right thing by using 10mm here and not the 19mm. Also, this is the first time I used Armaflex, and for figure out that the trauma scissors I have in the ambulance was great for this job. It's the Leatherman Raptor or something, but they are crazy expensive. But I got 2 of them, so I can have one in my toolbox. Here you see the issue. I'm like having to really struggle to get it in there, and I'm not thinking about that I actually have to peel off the back side of it, and it's almost impossible to get to it. And I've done that mistake several times after this on other places in the van. I tried to split it up in 2 here. That kind of worked, and here I'm trying to figure out how much gap there is on top of the isolation, and I kind of lost my idealism to Armaflex here, and as you can see it got a bit crooked, so it was not in line. And I think at some point I'd use Magill's pliers to get access to the peel-off thing, and I just understood I had to accept there would be joints on this isolation. And back to that, I need to learn to start with the small projects first and build skills and confidence before I start with the big important stuff that really commits when you start with it. It's like drilling a hole in your roof. You kind of have to get that leak proof before you do something else. Well, learning by burning. Gå igjen.
Ja, men
Hva er det som skjer her? Her er de rammene som var bestilt. Det skulle være tilpasset å legge ut. So my grand plan also with the recording went straight down the drains because the microphones was not picked up by the camera, so that's why you have a lot of noise. So I also tried to get a program to put subtitles on this video, but that was almost impossible because there is so much background noise that the artificial intelligence didn't work. Anyhow, my friend here, Emil, have done this as his own van, and he thought we would be done with this project in 3.5 hours. As you can see, that didn't happen. Another issue we encountered was that I tried to save money and bought some cheap step drills. Never should have done that because it's a reason these high quality step drills actually cost a ton of money.
Ja. Nei, noen kommentarer jeg har sett hos YouTube-folk, det er hvis du skjærer helt firkantet i hjørnet, 90 grader, så har de slette med lekkasje, og noen har en mistanke om det har om hvordan press du får på tettemiddelet. Om det er sant eller ikke, det aner jeg ikke.
den tiden så. Hundene, nå skal du ta de ut. Du skulle bare kjøpt deg satans dritbare her flere ganger.
Nei, det er nok en grunn til at et steppord koster jo 1200 kroner.
Ja.
Det er nok en grunn for det.
Du skal få være med. Jævla mas. Hva jeg sa? Lager meg et bord. Jeg
tilbake med plass. Snurr fortfilm. Ja, det der får du komme. Sånn er det.
So I have no idea where I am at this point. I guess I'm out airing the boys.
Minus 10, det er pluss 40.
Emily's just checking through the supplies. We got Tech 7, and then I had some butyl glue or whatever. And I don't know how many discussion we had about what was the best solution. And of course, he found the Tech 7 wash that I should have had when I tried to take out the Tech 7. And again, there is always one bolt missing or something we need, so I have made a decision that I will try to do as much as I can back home in my own garage where I know all the stuff is. But hopefully I will get better at ordering and see all the needs I have. Anyhow, during this voiceover, I can also see that I've done some stupid mistake during the edit, so a lot of my sound is not in sync anymore, and I guess I will have to do more voiceover than I actually had anticipated. But that's fine. There is so much rattling noise from the cameras because the microphones didn't work. That's life. We just need to figure out how to make these videos and start posting more regularly. Also, I see that I need to get better at cleaning as I go, because like in my armor flex, I found tons of metal pieces.
Nei, vet du hva vi gjør? Vi faen i den boringen. Det tar for lang tid, og det blir ikke bra.
Nei, du skal få lov til å se hvordan det ser ut på nærsiden.
Ja, nei, jeg vet det. Jeg ser det. Det buer seg bare inn.
Ja.
Og så skjeiner de.
Ja.
Det her driten her.
Skal selge det bordet brukt. Bordet brukt. Hjemme.
Ja. Det her. Bare drit. Det største søppelet. Den klarer ikke å kappe. Det er 4 millimeter. Det er jævla driten. Så jeg så tenker seg at de skal kjøpe seg et lite bor for å bruke et par ganger. Så du får bruke det en gang. Så funker det faen ikke mer. Jeg ser bare forklart til kamera. Det er ikke bare å dytte den i, jo. Ja.
Ompel og pilt.
Jesus Christ. Det jeg kunne ha fått tatt et lite papir og tørrspart. Det er siste resten av olja som vi ikke trenger. Fy faen for å nå i kapp. Eller borra.
Ja, den går til helvete, den der.
Takk søpla til og med.
Altså, det er jo ikke en grunn til at Steffora koster 1200 kroner.
Ja, jeg betalte for en sånn pitteliten Milwaukee-bor. Han går bare til, hva faen er det, 16 millimeter. Jeg betalte 719 kroner, eller hva faen det var.
Så fikk du han billig.
Well, that part is going to be interesting to see if the AI is able to translate. There is a lot of Northern Norwegian cursing there because of this cheap
Safety
steptools.
Yeah.
Safety first,
Nei,
because there was actually a lot of
Ja, når du
kind
finner
of
ut at
these
det ikke
small
virker
metal
uten.
pieces flying around from this, and me as a retard standing underneath there without any glasses. This was one of the most scary parts, making a huge hole in my roof. But again, there is like a ton of other videos on YouTube, people extrapolating how scary it is to get the hole in the roof. not gonna elaborate on that anymore. But here is something important. If I were to do this again, I would actually drill the holes or use the step clamp from underneath to push the metal upwards.
Skulle jeg hatt et bor?
Hæ?
Jeg skulle hatt et bor.
Ja, skal jeg hente?
Ja. Hæ? Ja.
Anyhow, I don't think I need to explain more about the process. As you can see, it's not a high-end job anymore, but I have to say, if Emil hadn't arrived and just kicked my butt and got this process starting, I would probably still be there philosophizing on how to solve this. So you need a friend sometime who can just kick you in the butts and get you going and take some chances. Because usually you will figure it out as you go along, even though it doesn't get perfect. It's better than it's not getting done.
Ja.
File. Ja. Jeg vil ha en liten her. Eller lita og lita. Hun kan være... Vi er først uten rammer da, for å dobbeltsjekke at vi får i alt.
Ja. Sånne milepæler er alltid greit å ha.
Jeg er litt i tvil
Hva?
om det er stort nok, og det er i så fall bra.
Det er en milepæl.
Kunne den ha passet bedre?
Like a glove. Skal vi prøve med den greia der?
Ja, det er den her vi skal ta. Den ligger bak meg.
Satan, hvordan klarer du å ha jakke på her?
Nei, jeg klarer ikke det. Det er fett og varmt, men jeg har ikke giddet å ta den av meg. If it works, don't fix it. Er det ikke det man sier?
Jo. Men det er ikke noe tvil om at et godt steppord er gull verdt.
Ja.
Noen kort si om den rammen her. Den er bestilt fra DIY Vans i USA. Litt skuffet. Jeg trodde det var i formpresset av rammen. Men det er jo bare 3D-printet. Og brukt noe sånne puslespill mot på. Så den kunne man like godt bare få noen til å printe lokalt.
And at this point,
Jeg var
we
nesten litt redd
realized
for at jeg hadde
there
bomma.
are different width on the sockets of the Maxxfan. Because as you can see, this is
Kommer
way
den med flush?
wider than the underframe that I ordered. But now the hole in the roof was already made, and that kind of commits. So you just have to go along with it and find some solutions that are good enough. We wanted to use rivnuts on the frame, but these are A4, what you call them, I don't know. It's really hard but brittle metal, and it didn't work out at all. So I still have these rivnuts
Vi
today.
skal bruke noe som kalles rivet nut, eller nøttenagel, eller hva enn ja, hva enn du skal kalle det. Og sette i bilen for å montere denne plata fast i bilen, så at du får mutter helt tvers igjen. Greia er det at når vi monterer her, så møter vi på noen snags her der taket går nedover her. De her er helt avhengige av, vi er i hvert fall helt avhengige av at de ligger flatt til taket, sånn at skruene går rett ned og ikke på skrå, sånn som de blir her. Så det er den sneggen vi har møtt på nå. Hvordan skal vi få det til å ligge flatt på samme tid som vi får takluka til å sitte ordentlig.
Ja. Jeg er så sta at jeg ikke har lyst til å gjøre det her konseptet med treverk og så selge bordene og skruer. For jeg er heller overbevist om at det jobber seg løst.
Ja. Som er fair.
Ja.
Men det vi har tenkt da, det er at vi har en lignende plate under. Skal vi ikke ha det på telefonfilm?
Jeg tykker det er skjønt.
Så ja. Jeg kan forklare til det kamera. Nei, action. Det vi kan gjøre, som jeg tror vil være en løsning, som vil fungere per i dag og i morgen og til sommeren. Så at vi borer der, og de to. Jeg tror, rimelig sikkert, at det vil være nok til sommeren.
Ja.
Og så kan vi i sommer sette hold der, der, der og der, og så montere den plata under. Eventuelt noe annet hvis vi kommer på noe lurt.
Den plata kan jeg lage i dag.
Den kan du gjøre nå.
Og det er jo A4 styrefast.
Ja, de flere noe plass. Ja. Den her kan du hive til satan og helvete og tilbake. Og så kjører jeg her.
Fantastisk verktøy fra jula.
Du tror meg jeg har forklart kameraet. Jeg har forklart.
Another issue we encounter in my wisdom of buying the best supplies was that the Tesa masking tape actually adhered to the roof too well after we washed with acetone, and it was really hard to get off there. So next time I will actually use a cheaper or a lower grade tape.
Men label-offen funker som faen.
Ja, du, den label-offen, jeg testet alle de forskjellige produktene.
Ja.
Og når jeg svarte flekkene så jeg trodde det skulle bli verst å få av,
Ja.
så var det faktisk label-offen som ser av.
Ja, det skal faen meg bil til å ha. Label-offen funker faen bra.
At this point we also realized that some of the paint have actually started to flake off, so we kind of needed to grind a little bit extra and make sure we got down to bare metal all the way where
Det er noen plass lakken med
the
løsning.
paint was actually flaking off. For this job, the lamel grinder on the Dremel tool was actually great. It doesn't take too much and it goes really good on edges, but it wears out really fast. If I'd done this today, I would probably know more about speeds on the jigsaw, having a deburl tool or whatever it's called to scrape off the edges after cutting and drilling. And in hindsight,
Det er så gøy å finne ut verktøy som fungerer.
I'm learning, and that is worth so much because jobs I do now, I know all the tools, I know all the settings almost in advance. So we started to clean out, and I have actually used none of the underframes, and I think I spent more than $200 on them. So if you are in need for underframe or mounting frames, 3D printed, please let me know. Here's another thing you will see later in the video. That was a waste of time. We didn't actually use masking later for the paint, and I actually had to do a lot of the painting job anyway. And in retrospect, I would actually use something like Power Coat or something, because I used that other places in the van, and it really goes nice over edges like this and has a great coverage.
Fordi at det vi gjør,
So the spray painting was a retarded
Du
idea.
holder en pappplate opp.
And in retrospect, just why didn't I fit one fan first and get that running before we started with the one in the rear? And of course, we did a lot of retarded new mistakes here, and one of them is we actually put it too far in the rear, so it comes too close to this beam in the back of the van. And that became kind of an issue when we wanted to thread the bolts later. So, yeah, you will see more of that later in the video.
Men de holdene som bare nå ble mye bedre.
Ja.
Men her holder jeg ble 10 ganger bedre.
Ja.
Men det er jo sånn det bruker å bli, ikke det?
Jo.
But at least we got better at cleaning as we went along. And this is something I've taken with me today, that I always have my vacuum available and cleaning supplies, because it just adds up to so
For det som
much
greia med den
extra
her nå,
work.
Flansen.
ser du?
Ja.
Hvor mye bredere den er.
Ja.
For at den her skal i teorien passe her nå. Og det gjør den. For det som jeg tror er greia,
Ja.
det er at de her er basert på de her.
Ja.
Som gjør at det blir noe helt annet.
Ja.
Så den her er jo good.
Ja.
Og med denne så kan vi legge rivet nuts rundt hele.
Ja. Så det vi
Så
gjør...
spørsmålet er, kan vi bruke denne fremme og gjøre det samme? For her, rundt denne, rundt her, så nekter jeg å tro for at det kommer til å bli noe problem med rivet nuts i det hele tatt. For jeg tror nesten alt her er flatt.
Ja.
Nei, det er det ikke.
Så vet jeg ikke, den rammen fra Nina, den er også bredere.
Ja, det er like bra.
Ja. Spørsmålet er om det er forskjell, siden de her er fra USA, om det er forskjell på amerikanske og europeiske.
Hva da?
Og sokler.
Ja, den her har du bestilt på Camping for You. Tysk.
Nei, den kjøpte jeg jo brukt. Eller den kjøpte jeg jo ei som kjøpte den ikke skulle ha den.
Ja. Men jeg lurer på om det... Nei, det faen, det her er jo...
Men jeg tenker... Ja. Ja, vi har altså andre alternativer. Det måtte være å finne noe som får bror din til å 3D-printe.
Ja, vi har ikke tid til det. Han har ikke 3D-printer nå.
Han sa han har kjøpt.
Ja, han har kjøpt, men han har ikke kommet.
Ja.
Disse er et jævla dårlig alternativ, fordi at de ligger oppå der igjen. Så det du skal få lov å bruke natta på, ja, eller du trenger å bruke natta, kan vekk alt det her.
Ja, men la oss nå rekke opp litt.
Ja. Det du også kan gjøre,
Ja.
som ikke er mye arbeid, det er å kappe opp deler av denne. Og det er kun der denne og denne. Da slipper vi å kappe hele det her på nytt. For da ramler han ned disse 5 millimeterne. Som vi uansett skal bygge opp med betyr.
Ja.
And the stupid thing about this is that I could have actually tested these pieces together before we cut a hole in the roof. I could spend time looking at all the issues around this and trying to figure out
Uansett.
a
good plan.
Så får han
So
ned en halv sånn.
I didn't
Då blir
have
han
to
liggande
take
flatt
everything
på
ad
här,
hoc when we
där,
cut the
mitt på
hole in
där.
the roof.
Nå må vi bygge opp dette med betyr.
Ja, hørselvern må man bruke.
Nei, jeg har ikke annet enn jeg bare Bluetooth. Men jeg prøver når Kåre skal prate, så må jeg ha hørsel.
Ja, Kåre, han prater jo hele tiden, så det
Prøv å gjette hvordan jeg husker hvem sin mikrofon.
Det er jo fordi at din...
Jeg har grått hår, du har en svart sjel. Vil du ta en recap hva som skjer her?
Ja, det som er greia er det at vi må, de holder den rammen her.
KNS på det beste.
Oi.
Da fikk du faen på kamera også.
Ja, men det her hadde jo funket fint.
Nei, men den sitter på sporene. Jeg aner ikke hvor den skal.
Ja, det er sant, for du skal ha et tilhak her.
Ja. Nei, jeg blir nå å gi det bort. Ja. Hvis det er noen som trenger ramme uansett, så rop ut. Skal dere få. De er gode som stensiler.
Ja, det er de faktisk. Nå skal jeg forklare. Dette er en ny type ramme, tror jeg, til Maxxfan. De gamle, eller de som følger med, har en kant som er mye bredere her. Det som er fint med denne, for da får alle få tak i den her i stedet for å bruke den originale egentlig. Fordi at den her går mye mer flush hvis du skal vifte frem. Men den her er bedre hvis du skal vifte bak. Men det eneste ulempen med den her, som du ikke trenger å gjøre med den her, det er det at du må flytte de borehullene på de bakerste skruene 1 centimeter fremover, for å ikke treffe den bjelken som er der.
Men det er noe vi kunne ha tatt høyde for også.
Ja, vi kunne ha flyttet hullet bitte litt til.
Ja.
Men den silen som du har kjøpt, ikke den her, men den ala denne. Jo, nei, det er ikke denne. Ala denne tar ikke høyde for det.
Nei.
Heller. Den tar ikke høyde for veldig mange ting. Det er veldig mange ting den ikke tar høyde for, sånn som blant annet den her. Hvis du kjøper disse stensilene, eller disse rammen, så tar den ikke høyde for den kanten som er her. Og det er rett og slett fordi at den kanten ikke lenger eksisterer på de nye rammen. Sånn at han ligger flush her. Og det gjør at ikke på den her, på grunn av den kanten. Det vil si enormt mye butyl.
Og mindre press.
Og tek 7.
Ja.
Og så blir det jo, ja, du får ikke trykt. Så det jeg vil 100% anbefale, det å kappe utenfor denne, på den her, utenfor denne kanten, hvis du velger å bruke disse.
Ja. Så kan man bare si kort. Her, for å få den flush, det kan hende vi må pynte litt på den. Så smelter vi bort det her, for at det rett og slett skal passe med takprofilen. Men sånn er det når det er 2 glade amatører. Bare gjør det beste ut av det, så blir det nok tett nok i hvert fall. Kan uansett si, her er prima, og det er lakket 2 lag. Kanskje man kan diskutere om man burde brukt epoxybasert lakk og sånn, men jeg tror det blir tett nok.
Ja. Det er også rengtis da.
Hæ?
Det er også rengtis da.
Bobot.
Men du har sett på det rustgreiene der oppe?
Hvordan rustgreier?
Så på hjørnet der.
Nei, faktisk ikke. Jeg ser det ikke. Kan du peke på det?
Det er der.
Der. Ja. Det er nok en av de sketsjige tingene med bilen, uten at jeg ser det ordentlig nå, hvor de ikke har vært ærlige. Rett og slett.
Vet du hva vi kan?
Nei.
Alle de her hullene.
Ja.
Kan vi sette rivet nødt rett i bilen?
Ja.
Og sammen med alle fremme.
Ja.
Kun siden. Det passer fett bra med at vi bytter ramme nå.
Ja.
Så egentlig så kan du nesten kappe vekk halvparten på ene siden.
Og det her?
Ja.
Ja, men jeg tror likevel bare blir beholde det.
Ja, det er bare vanskelig å få det opp.
Mm.
Det er bare
Ja, ja. Ja, det er bare for å smelte bort. Du mener bare stryke det utover?
Ja.
Ja.
Det er kun den kanten som er på den veggen, på en måte. Jeg vil bare ha penere.
Begge sidene? Emil?
Hæ?
Begge sidene?
Ja, det der er godt. Taket. Men jeg tror ikke det har så mye å si.
Hva?
Som gjør at det blir sånn.
Ja.
Så, og det er ikke så mye bøy nedover på begge sider.
Nei.
At jeg tror ikke det vil ikke påvirke grøfta på noen måte, tror jeg.
Det er faen meg noe annet som jeg ikke har sett for. Det er mer bue på taket her enn det er lenger inn.
Ja, men det er bare bilen. Det er jeg nesten helt sikker på. Det er bare
Ja,
bilen.
ja, det er bilen. Men det er jo bare nok et eksempel på at faen meg alt blir mer komplisert enn man tror.
Ja. Men jeg tror det her er the way to go, altså. For den buen her blir å forsvinne også litt mer når du får retyltøy.
Det som er, det er nok liksom gitt klaring på vifta og altså en toleranse. Skal jeg klemme ned ramma med noen klemme, eller?
Nei. For det vi kan gjøre, finn frem 2 rivet nuts. Ja, nei, det var jo amatørmessig gjennomført av meg.
Ja.
Et sånt hold på feil plass.
What?
Men det er langt innenfor, så det går bra. Du blir ikke se det, slapp av.
Ja, vi må jo forsøke det.
Nei, hvorfor det? Ja, med maling?
Ja.
Ja. Fett bra! Det er litt gøy hvordan man går med stort mål, høyt mål, og at vi skal bruke matte, og vi skal prøve å ta vare på ting, vi skal prøve å passe på taket, vi skal, ja, det er så mye greier. Og til at vi er kommet 5 timer inn i arbeid. Ja, faen!
Nå har gått med piggsko.
Ja.
Nei, siden det blir, så skal jeg være nøye og så presse ut litt til her, så at det ikke klemmer mot. Så jeg blir å tegne på ramma samtidig. Nei, siden jeg likevel må lakke en del opp. Jeg tenkte jeg bare skulle merke der den klip.
Ja, det skal være. Men jeg skal finne meg dår. Dåre mina ta, hadde vi 2. Men hvor mye høyere arbeidsmoralen det blir når Men prøv å bruke kun tek-7, for den tørsker på -10. Og den har en arbeidsgrad på -10 grader.
Ja.
Og så varmt som det er her oppe, så er den tørr til i morgen. Kanskje ikke gjennom her da, men når du kommer hjem, så blir han hard.
Ja. Hvordan var det? Hadde du batteri jeg kunne tjuvlåne hos deg?
Til Milwaukee?
Nei, til bilen.
Ja, det var det. Skal du ha de før? Kanskje... Når må du ha de?
Nei, jeg vurderte bare å installere det i natt.
Ja, da får du være med bortover når det er fer da.
Ja.
Ta med tork, det er det eneste du trenger.
Vet du hvordan tork?
Nei, jeg tror det. Jeg har T25-en din her oppe.
Ja, det er ikke noe strøm.
Men jeg tror det er T25 eller T20. Jeg er litt usikker. Nei, alle ølene blir M7.
Ja.
For det var litt vanskelig å få de til å treffe. Men du har skive.
Ja, hvis ikke så ligger det... Jeg har en del skiver.
Vil jeg si at du har 32 skiver?
Sannsynligvis.
Ja.
Så du tenker at man bruker skive oppå...
Nei, under. De som gjør det her profesjonelt har jo en stillas de bare setter med det.
Ja.
So I said I wouldn't film more. I lied. Okay. So I actually found my other 3D printed frame. I actually don't know where it's supposed to fit. So anyway, it seems to work quite well what we did here. Just melted out these notches and it comes down pretty flush. So we're gonna need to build up there and there. We're gonna do that with butyl tape. I think that will be okay. Let's cross our fingers. Now I'm just gonna sand off this area and mask it up so I can paint. I know it doesn't look super pretty, but it's going to be covered under the frame anyway. But I'm very poor at eye measurement, so at least I had to make some kind of makeshift stencil. There was a bladder there with some small rust in it, and a bladder there with some rust under it. So I'm going to use this rust eater, rust milk, because however hard you grind or sand, or it's still going to be some rust in the metal if it's first established. But for the rest, just going to use the primer. It is primer even though it says paint. And if it comes a little bit under the edges, that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. But for sure, these magnets are not very powerful. But I will definitely buy more magnets because it makes life so much easier to don't have to do tape and everything. And it's easier to kind of adjust. So definitely buying some more powerful magnets so I can attach the stencil with magnets. It's now 11 o'clock. I'm pretty tired and the dogs need another walk. We just do short walks when my head is kind of boiling. So I also get some air. So I think this will be one of the last things we do today. I should paint on that door. I will have to see if I do that, because I'm getting really tired, and I'm actually thinking about just making a like small stencils I can hold over the holes and whatever I see, because I'm not going to manage to do the whole door, and then I will just be flickering and continuing and continuing whenever I see like a scar or whatever. So maybe I just make a whole stencil and take the things I already grinded so it can dry tomorrow. But it's remember that that door is just a side project that I can continue later. This needs to be done today. My head was just full, so I had to take a step outside. I'm gonna walk the boys for half an hour before we go to bed. This is the farm again. I'm so grateful for this opportunity, and I definitely have to figure out some way to give back because he refuses to take paid. Also, I have no idea if this star sky is showing up and northern lights. I don't think my camera is good enough for that. But I think it's a nice little community here. There's another guy with Kelpie over there who does herding. But yeah, now the boys are gonna race a little bit so they can blow off some steam. Okay, so it's not all the northern light camera is able to catch. But I kind of reached the end point for tonight. And luckily for me, I was wise enough to take the boys for a walk. Because look at this. And these are the moments I want more of, when I can finally just travel around with my van and work when I have to.
Okay, so at this point I've done so
So,
many
good night,
mistakes
and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.
post-production
Og det blander litt mellom norsk og engelsk her, filmen.
with the fan install in itself, but
Nå er det
I
morgen.
just continue to solder on.
Guttene er klare for litt luftings. Vi har allerede gjort
I tried different configurations in
første
vans,
laget med lakk
thinking about how
der
I
oppe
want to
over
arrange
lukken.
this. At this point I'm actually thinking if I should have the cage,
Så i dag skal vi
by the
pinadø
side
få
door,
inn viften.
but
Det blir
fall
nice.
back on
Hva som skjer, Emil?
the rear of the van because I'm gonna remove the wall
Den er ikke satt.
and the area between the doors is gonna be like the living area. I'll continue to make the frame out of ABS plastic.
Her er sånn
There was some
dobbelthøll, så den her er
considerations how I would fit it,
Ta brura.
go between the profiles and so on. So this is where I think this fan installation really is set aside from the normal thing about using self-tapping screws into a wooden frame. There is no wood in this installation whatsoever. Everything is like this anti-rust metal that I can't remember what it is in English. And there is also isolation double-sided tape under these frames that you will see me install later. But I definitely liked working with this material, and the metal I'm talking about is stainless. Got some food, was just thinking about how it's going to be to live in the van. This process have been dragging out so much longer than I ever could have imagined, but it's nice to have dreams, if I can say that. And also this is the industrial so I didn't fully take my chance on the metal pinching on the frame of the fan, so I did actually double check and grind it away where it was close to pinch or whatever. I had several rounds on YouTube and different forums asking about this, and some people said that the van would actually chew on the plastic and the metal would get exposed as the plastic would actually be able to chew through the paint. So I think this is the third time. Also getting the frames in place, I decided to drill through the holes, like attach it like I did here with clamps, and drill the holes through the holes in the van because I'm just terrible at measuring, and I would have ended up like drilling 100 holes per frame. In the back it was a little bit more challenging because, like we said before, we placed the fan too far to the rear. Here is Kåre. That was actually nice of him to drop by because I was just saturated with thoughts and work at this time. Anyhow, went back to working. I decided to cut off a little bit on the frame so it wasn't that wide in the back, and I actually managed to fit it in between the beams. Same process, drill through the roof to make sure the holes aligned. One thing is that I have used a lot of acetone to wipe down, but what I can see is where the paint is worn. Acetone is actually a little bit too rough, but where the paint is like more still glossy, it works fine. As I said, I think this is the third time I'm actually painting up the edges there. For sure, I would use something I could just apply with as a sponge or something if I were to do this again. The holes I drilled through the roof into the plastic was actually just pilot holes. As you could see, I had to drill them up. Also waiting for the paint to dry, I decided just to do whatever I could do, and these plug holes are pretty rusty, and I wanted to get an overview of how many of them I actually have to get someone to weld for me. Also, this drawer have been bothering me for quite some time, and when I just got around to it, it was like a 5-minute fix, and now the drawer will actually slide properly. And that was a huge moral boost, just getting that out of the way. And I had some thoughts about putting those drawers under the cage, but they were too small. So I just decided to put them here on the side of the van. I already decided that the area between the side doors are going to be a living area. And yeah. What I'm proud of is that I'm getting better and better at cleaning as I go, so I don't step in shit all the time and drag it out into the van and everywhere. And it just does something with my head when it's a little bit cleaner when I work, but still there's a long way to go. I bolted 2 of these drawers together, so it became an elevated platform. And my plan is to put my Anker Solix Everfrost on top here. This drawers are 60 centimeters wide. The Anker Everfrost is 40, so there's going to be a technical cabinet behind it. Got on to painting again, and then started laying up butyl tape. And my God, that was a test of my patience. So for one thing, I thought I could just measure on how long I wanted them, but when I applied them, they would stretch. So I definitely just left that technique as I went along. And I just realized I have to eyeball this thing. And also at this point, I'm starting to really have bad back pain, so I'm trying to find different positions to work all the time. And all in all, I think that it took like 5 hours to apply butyl tape. What you saw me doing there is that I just took a pencil mark around the frame, so I actually knew how wide I would have to put the butyl tape. But this is also me and something I need to get better at, because I could have ordered like wider butyl tape online. And this is back to, I could have tested these frames before we started installation. But I just soldier on and got that done and was pretty happy with the result. Here I'm just using isopropanol to wipe off the ABS frame and putting on this isolated double-sided tape. And that was just great to work with. It was really easy just to cut out and really get it to stick, and it didn't even loosen there when I was drilling up the holes. Another thing I wish I knew is that when you try to use stainless screws, you should have some kind of lubrication. Anyhow, I also had this mix of glue and butyl, which I filled in every cavity around the frame. It became a little bit messy, but I think it was worth it. Here's the frame in place, and it was just so great with the glue. I didn't have to put up clamps and everything. And now I have to admit, Emil told me do not try to put butyl under the screw heads, especially on pan screws. But still I did. And that just took like an hour or 2 extra. First I tried to just get it to stick, push all the butyl, and then I tried to put butyl tape under the screw heads. What happens is that it just rotates, and like you could see there, it gets thrown out of the screw. I should have abandoned that idea way earlier. So I just ended up having to clean everything off, wipe it off again, so I knew that Tech 7 glue would stick. And of course I had to pull out some of the screws again to get the Tech 7 down there, and yeah, just a huge mess. Then of course I put on too much butyl, so I had to really use excessive amount of Tech 7. And I thought I could use like concentrated dishwashing soap to smoosh it out. And boy, was I wrong. It just became a mess, as you can see. And I could have used Tech 7 cleaner, or at least diluted the dishwashing soap a little bit better. Waiting for that to dry, I finished up the back door, or at least this storage area in the back door. Tried to figure out if I can actually use this Milwaukee Packout mount in the van in any way. But the floorboards are too thin, so I can't put any holding screws in that, and it would just be too much work to pull out the floorboards and put clove nuts in there. Anyhow, the Tech 7 in place, that just needed to cure. I started just to clean up. And this is something I addressed before, and why I'm gonna do more of the refit at home, because it's just so much work and chaos throwing stuff in and out of the van. I always forget to bring something, and I have to get someone to bring it or go out and get it, and it's just cumbersome. Of course, all this chaos also inflicts the quality of the filming, because when I want to film something, either my phone is out of storage or a camera is out of batteries, or like this video, the microphones doesn't work and I don't have time to actually test it before we start the installation. Anyhow, it's time to round up. Sorry about the poor quality. I will get better at both van building and video editing if you followed this far, which I actually doubt. Thank you so much. And even though if you didn't like it, you are allowed to comment. That helps us to at least push into the algorithm and continue to improve. And I promise I will get better. And luckily we are allowed to come back in this garage, because I'm definitely going to need to be on the roof for some other parts of the van conversion. Take care.